In the previous lesson, we discovered a little bit more about HTML documents and the web in general and internet, the founders of internet, and the hypertext protocol. So basically, a web page, a website is constructed and is based on the hypertext, on the markup, and on the actual language. And we're gonna get more into HTML document in this video. So I'm gonna open up here the HTML document, and we're gonna start from here. We're gonna start with a blank document. We're gonna see what HTML language is about and how it's structured, what are its different parts. So we discovered the basics of everything that runs around the HTML. And so we talk about search engines, browsers, and also we saw this website right here, which is called Vutri Schools, which is really interesting, and it will help you to get started with many different languages, not just HTML. And if we go here, you have some simple try yourself exercises that will help you understand the basics of, in this case, HTML, but also for other languages. And we're gonna do this in DreamWeaver because we've chosen to use DreamWeaver, which is basically an app that will help us to create our web pages, website, and then we will put it into a website with a domain, etc., etc. So these are all the pages we opened up in the previous video, and we also said that the HTML is based on the hypertext, which means that a text is linked through these little words to other documents, and also markup stands for the tags right here that are used in the HTML. So let's start with our blank document here. As we do in every other video course, we start with really basic things, and then we make things a little bit more complex video by video. So don't worry about it, and we're gonna go slow, nice and slow. So for the more expert, you can just jump ahead in other lessons or like the end of the video. So this is the structure of HTML. Again, you can look at this also on Vutri Schools or anywhere on the web. Let's see how it is composed. So this is the opening of the HTML, and it opens up with a tag. This is an opening tag, and we have this character right here, which is for me is like minor or like less or more, or we can call these little arrows, and then it closes here with the slash. So if you want to type it yourself, you need to do exactly the same syntax. You don't need to change anything. So you can press on the keyboard to open up there a tag, and then once you do this in Dreamweaver, it's gonna give you some hints. So it's gonna tell you, okay, what do you want to do here? You want to do a heading or a frame or something, or perhaps an anchor, or this is the anchor right here. And if you press the arrows on the keyboard, you can go up and down, and it's going to tell you what you're going to create here. So it's going to give you a little hint of what you are creating. So at the beginning, we need to put the HTML. We need to say, okay, this is going to be an HTML, so hypertext markup language document, and then we need to close. So every time we open one with this arrow right here, we need to close with this other one. And of course, we need to have also the closing here. Otherwise, if I leave this open, it's gonna give me an error. It says that, okay, you need to close this. So the closing tag is this one here. Okay. And you can type everything yourself. You can just learn the basics and then use the tools and the elements that Dreamweaver will give you. Now, the other part of an HTML document is the head. Now, in the head, usually we type things that will not be visible on the page. And for example, here we have the title. So let's call this lesson 4. Okay, but I don't see the title here on the page. I'm going to show you where the title will appear. Let's save this page. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, and I'm just going to choose my Dreamweaver folder. I'm going to call this Lesson 04 and save it. Okay, now Lesson 04 is visible right here, but that's not the title. We need to run a preview of the page. So I'm going to click down here for the preview or press F12. If you're curious, you can just go into the folder where you save the file and you can see what's happening. And essentially, you see the HTML page or file is just, or document, it's just, another type of file. You can also see the preview here. There's nothing to see actually. It's totally white, but if you double click, you can also open it up and we can see that the title doesn't appear anywhere. So usually what you put in the head stays, let's say, invisible, and it's for other purposes like meta tags and other stuff that we're gonna see later. Now another one that is usually used in this part in the head is the description. So title and description are useful for web browser and search engines. So if I type here description, okay, I can say this is my website is about blah blah blah. So that's plain text. Now what happens if I don't close the description? Nothing appear, and also this will not work and it'll give me an error. This red sign here is telling me that there's something wrong. Well, the wrong is that I need to close this. So I can Control C, Control V, copy and paste this, and just add a slash here to close. And now it's fine. You can see we don't have any error. So every time you open one with the markup element to close it, so it's going to work properly. Now we can put this anywhere in this line. You can see these are the line of codes. Doesn't matter if I put it like really far away or really close. Well, usually the suggested thing is to use as less space as you can. So right now I'm just making space to make you understand the various parts of the HTML. So inside the HTML we have the head, which is more for information and metadata. And then we have body, which is the main part. So this is where you put things that will actually be visible. So if I type here, for example, title of the page, okay, this will be visible up there. Now the only thing is that this is a simple text. Now if you type simple text, it will be visible. It will not give you an error, but usually we define this as either like a paragraph or a heading or something like that. So let's say we want to do a heading, so an important part of our design. Well, in that case, we're going to type here H1. That's the most important heading. And you can see as soon as I put the other arrow, it automatically closes this up. This is something, an aid that Dreamweaver does, because it's, it says, okay, if you open this, then you want to close it. But then the text there is outside that marked area. So I need to right click also. I need to cut it. So with the right click on the code here, you can do many operations. You can cut, paste, quick edit, and in this case we don't have anything to edit. And then we have find if we want to look for the word in the document and other stuff. Well, in this case we just need to cut and paste. So Control X, Control V. Now you can see that the text become really big because this is now it's not a simple text anymore. It's a heading, and it's giving me a problem because I think it doesn't like the H in capital. Probably it wants it small. Yeah, there you go. So you see it's really precise, and you need to be careful in the syntax. Now, if you want to see your updated version of the page, you need to right click here and save, or you can just go to file and save, or Control S to save everything before you go and see another preview. And you can also use different browsers to see the difference. If you open up the same browser, just remember to refresh the page to see the changes. Now I can see the heading, but I can also see this description right here. So this is not supposed to be visible. Why is it visible? Why is it not visible here? Because this is how Dreamweaver interprets the page. So remember, it's a language that talks with browsers and talks with the software. So in this case, probably for Google, well, that's not good. I need to put here that this is meta content. Otherwise, it's gonna, give me some problems. Now, this could be a good syntax. And also, if you don't want to learn all of this stuff, most of this is available in the Insert tab, which is one of the tab that you will find in Dreamweaver. So there is a section, if you scroll down, called Meta, and there is description. So now we just type the description. This website is about blah, 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 and okay. So you can see again that the correct syntax should be this. So if you want, you can copy and paste it also from other websites like Woodtree Schools, etc., etc. If you want, you can use some aid from Dreamweaver. This is why, again, we would use Dreamweaver instead of just writing our own code. And now let's move here into the page. So let's do a paragraph. Paragraph, it's another important one. So it's going to be the P. And now I can just click here to select it. And again, if I put the other arrow, it's going to close it up for me. And now we are going to create a link or hyperlink, which means that this is going to bring me into another place, in another page. So how do we do an hyperlink? Again, there are some easy tools. And also, let's refresh. This is the properties panel, also really important. And I believe that is going to be really useful, and usually is not available when you open up Dreamweaver. So you can go to Window and look for the properties, and then if it appears somewhere, you can just dock it down there. This is how older version of Dreamweaver worked. So here you have HTML and you have CSS. Now the quickest way I think we can add a link is also from here, using the preview part. So if I double click, you can see I can change this into bold. I can make this italic. I have some quick editing tools right here. And then the third one is going to be the link. So if we need to link this to another page of our website, well, we need that page, and we will find it in our local folder. If we want to link to something external to another website, we need to type the entire URL. So I'm going to type like HTTP hypertext protocol, and then the rest, and then the domain. So let's go to youtube.com, for example. Okay, so now I have the link. So what I've created now is the actual hypertext document. So this is the way, the practical way you can create hypertext using simple text and then transform it into an hyperlink. So let's check this. I'm gonna press F12, run a preview, or just go again back to the previous page and refresh. Now we don't see the title of the description, the meta description, and we see simple text, and this one here that is underlined and is blue, which is our hyperlink. So if I click here, it's going to bring me to YouTube in an external page, basically. This is an external link. We also have anchor links that will bring you in the same page, but in another position. That's the anchor. Now, this also, in the live view, acts like an actual web browser. So if I want to go to check this hyperlink, if I click normally, it's just going to open it up like this. If I hold Control and click, it's gonna open the actual page that I want to go to, and also is showing me stuff coming from YouTube, which is really complex, all the source code basically. So it's like we are inspecting the HTML, the code of this. So let's go to the sign. Now the sign, you can see, is pretty similar. The link doesn't work. So you see that that is giving us problems, and perhaps it opens up different types of links. But anyway, if you want to check the actual the website, how it actually works, you may want to go into the live view. Right now, the live and the sign, they look pretty similar, but you will see that there will be a difference. But essentially, when you need to work more on the style, live is a little bit better because it's going to show you like also animated content and things like that. If you want to work more like on the basic stuff, like headings, paragraphs, the structure using the CSS and the div, probably want to be in the design view. So let's see what else appears here. So let's go and check what this is. So if you click on the three little lines, it's gonna tell you if what format is this and if you want to change it. So using text, simple text, you can also change this into a paragraph or H1 or H2, so smaller and smaller titles. Now, do we need all these titles? Well, apparently not, but it's just a way to preset some different size and different importance of the various text in the page. Now, the more you use this, the better will be for Google, for search engine. So start to do some website optimization by using these different formats. At least choose paragraph and at least 3 or 4 of the headings. And it needs to have always the H1, which is basically the actual title, the visible title of the page. Now, after that, you can create like a subtitle here with H2 and then H3, etc. But if you use them properly and you structure your page with all these paragraphs, headings in a nice and order fashion, it's going to be better for your website. Your website reputation builds on the actual content that it's inside the page, but also the way you put that content in a way that is going to be easy to read, easy to use. So it needs to have a good readability, usability, etc., etc. So like user friendly. Okay, so we can change the format. We can also put the link from here, or we can make this bold, or we can make this italic. Well, you can see the heading is already bold, so we don't see pretty much difference. Now let's go back to the paragraph, click, and you can see it's pretty much the same. You also have the indents, and you can push the paragraph back and forward. So assuming you're creating more paragraph. By the way, if you want, you can also copy and paste and make sure you underline what you want to copy. So Control C, Control V, and you can see now we have the same exact paragraph. So underline, Control C, Control V, and you can also press Enter to go down, and you can see the body limits, which are defined by this orange line, that are expanding because everything we are doing is inside the body. So remember to put everything inside the body. You don't want to put like outside. So if I go in the code, and again, I can do copy paste and cut. So if I do Control X to cut this and I move it into here between the body and the HTML, well, it's still going to be visible, but that's not correct. It's not the way you want to do this. You want to put this into the body, and if everything that is going to be content is going to go into the body. Now I can also type anything here if I want, and in some browser this could be visible, but you don't want to do that. If you put it in the body, you see it's visible, but again, you need to specify what this is. The more you are nice and neat, the better it will be for Google, and it will say, okay, this is a good website, and I'm gonna give a reward by putting it higher in the rankings in the search results. So you have some haze here in the live view. You have some haze. Also right click. You can also do a lot of operation with the right click. So you can change the heading, the paragraph format from here. And we can change, also we can make like a list, and right click. We have a lot of stuff here. Style, the CSS style. We're going to talk about those later. We can insert other stuff, copy and paste. In the live view, we have extra, like these 3 lines. We can also click and drag and put this like before or after another, just like in WordPress. WordPress is kind of the most user-friendly web editor or CMS, but Dreamweaver has now a lot of tools that are pretty similar to what we find in WordPress. And here we can also add classes, IDs, like CSS language that we're going to discover later. So if you press on the plus, and down here we have what we just saw. If we roll over, it's going to tell me, you know, some hints. If I right click, I have some extra operations, and that's it. So it's going to help me writing the code and editing the content using these aids. But also, again, I think one really important one is the properties, and we're going to discover more about this. But if I select also from here and I go here in the properties, I can also change the format from here, and ordered list, unordered list, and we also have the CSS. But again, we're gonna have a look to this later on. Now, also, you can see here that when I do a bold, is creating an extra markup for that. And then we have the insert panel, really important, because here we find basically anything we can insert. And then we have the CSS designer to create and manage CSS, files to manage the entire website, CC libraries to get external content. So extra, you know, panels to do different things. But about the code, well, the most important one is the insert HTML, and also later on we will see the CSS. So we're gonna stop for this lesson right here. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe to the channel to stay updated for more, not only in Dreamweaver but also another all other software that you can also find already in the channel. You can find a lot of courses, video courses, guides, and you know, many software, 3D, graphic design, etc. So if you want to support us, join the channel as a supporter. Go and check out other videos, and see you in the next lesson.